We want to thank Eve Legal AI for sponsoring today's episode. Eve has really changed our practice, changed the way I practice law. I use it on a daily basis. It's a native AI company. We're building all of our systems around it. It takes away all of the things that you don't like about being a lawyer and lets you do all the things that you love about being a lawyer on a daily basis. Really check out Eve Legal AI. It's dedicated to plaintiffs' firms. It makes a difference.
Hi, Lisa here with Dawn, and we're excited to talk about this topic, which is burnout is not failure.
Nope.
I think at some point everyone has experienced burnout, and it's a really good time to talk about this because we're just in a cycle where everybody is going 90 to nothing 24/7. Mm-hmm. So I told Dawn earlier, it's almost really hard for me to ask her, have you ever been burned out without laughing?
A couple of times.
Okay, so
maybe.
Tell me about the burnout, and did you feel like a failure? Were you able to turn it around? And if so, like how did you do that? How did you get yourself out of that really, really icky place of burnout?
Yeah, I mean, I just think that, all of us have hard days. So that's different than being burned out, right? Like, burnout is when you get to a place where you're just, am I in the right place? Am I doing the right thing? Mm-hmm. Am I making forward progress? I mean, you and I both, we feel like if we're not going a million miles an hour, if we're not achieving something, if we're not moving forward, then we're failing. So I think that trying to balance those wants and needs to have everything right now, and still keeping your space and keeping your peace, I think that that's the most important thing to do. I mean, when I hit a wall, I just, I think I was trying to find a way to transition. I was at my first firm, and I really wanted more, and it just seemed like it was just not the right fit anymore. And I wouldn't necessarily say I was totally burned out, but it just wasn't the right fit anymore. Mm-hmm. And it just, if you're trying to do the same thing over and over again in the morning and you're not being fulfilled by it, right. I just feel like I'm spoiled because I love my job. Mm-hmm. And if I don't feel like I'm being fulfilled in my job every day, challenged every day, then I don't feel like I'm doing enough. How about you?
Well, my burnout was in a place where there was a lot of stress that was going on, and I just felt like I couldn't accomplish anything, mm-hmm. just like you talked about. But the difference being is I was initially not really recognizing it as true burnout, and I was like seeking answers from other people, mm-hmm. like help, the bantering back and forth, to close people like you, when it was going through the hardships. And honestly, that's when I was like, I am so burned out that I didn't even feel like I personally had the answers for myself, mm-hmm. And once I kind of just had to go to a place where give myself some grace. And it's really hard because you just feel like you got to keep grinding, and like that's the problem. You're grinding, and you don't ever have a place for peace, so you can't. It's like a vicious cycle,
yeah.
Right?
Yeah, you have to have energy.
Yeah.
Like, where are you getting that energy? I feel like, you have to make choices. What gives you energy? Mm-hmm. This gives me energy. I love being here. We have amazing people around us, and just, being together with people that I love to be with, that mm-hmm. gives me energy. And I think you can make choices about who you're spending time with, about what you're doing, about whether or not those things give you energy. And if you're in this grind and constantly worried about, that next thing without kind of rejuvenating yourself in some way,
yes.
That's a recipe for disaster.
Yes.
And you can go that way for a certain period of time, but there is a wall that you're going to hit, and that wall is not pretty.
Yeah, and it really, the other component about hitting the wall is that if you hit it and destruct, mm-hmm. like how do you recover? Mm-hmm. So the whole idea of being able to recognize that you're in burnout and figure out a solution, like I'll be happy when, as opposed to I'll be happy if,
Yeah.
you've got to start making some serious decisions about what is it. And so I think as much as I hate to say it, and I've said this before, I have learned more from my losses and my struggles than I have from the growth and the other component of it, because it just gives you those life lessons that help you figure out how to function moving forward.
That's funny that you brought that up, because I have discussions with people all the time. So I know I bring Sari Delamont up a lot because I love her and admire her. She's a jury consultant and a life coach. And she mentioned one day, and it really resonated with me, that you learn more from your successes than your failures. And I know that is a constant topic of debate. So when we're talking about burnout, right? And getting through it, and if you get through something hard, then you can do something hard. But when it comes to winning, there's a feeling of winning that once you have it, you know what it feels like, and it's easier to get it. So I feel like those successes, when you have those successes, you have those successes under your belt, you know what it feels like, and you know how to find it, you know how to tweak it. So I feel like there's got to be a little bit of balance in wins and failures, and I've thought about that a lot recently. What have I learned from my failures? What have I learned from my wins or my successes? And we all know winning's a lot more fun than losing or
winning
failing.
is a lot more fun.
But I know doing hard things and getting through hard times is where you really that's where the character's built.
Yeah.
You're just going to lay there.
Well, and I'll also say that in winning, everybody around you wants to be part of the win. So it's like a group effort, a team effort. Like, this is exciting. This is fun. Let's keep doing this. We're part of a team, and we've made this happen. Not only at work, but your loved ones and everybody, recognize success. The difference, when you're losing, people fall to the wayside. Like, they're like gone. So, back to burnout, you don't necessarily have the support that obviously you would when you're winning. But that's like such an interesting observation that she makes, that you learn more from your successes. And it does, because I think having success, you will do whatever it takes to
get it back,
to push through that wall and get back to a place of success, and make adjustments, as you go along, to stay on that path of success.
Yeah.
So a burnout is not a failure, right?
It's not.
It's just a life lesson. It's just a chapter.
Yeah.
As much as you just want to hit somebody over the head with a book when you're going through it, when they tell you it's just a season, it's just a chapter.
Right. You're like, shut up.
Yeah,
I'm going through it. I don't need to hear that right now.
I know.
What would you say are some of the tools that you used on a daily basis, or that you use on a daily basis when you're having kind of a down slope? Burnout is one thing. I think that there are so many different ideas about what exactly burnout means. Just going through kind of a rough patch to where nothing is going right, to where everything feels wrong, to where you can't make any progress, no forward momentum. How do you have some tools that you use on a daily basis to just kind of get you up and through that day?
Yeah, well, for me, that just kind of falls into the health and wellness realm, because when things start slipping, as far as just challenges at work or challenges, just life generally, the thing that you can control is your ability to exercise, your ability to listen to positivity, your ability to drink your water. Get your rest. Like, those things all add up. But, and sometimes, like, when I am in just a crabby space, I will actually do that icky to-do list.
Oh, really?
I'm just like, let's pull this out and knock out this crap.
Yeah.
Because if this is where I'm at today, I don't want to do these 10 things, because we all have them once in a while, the lists where, it's just like you postpone. So, that's not burnout, but it's just a tool that I have wherein I'm just like, okay, I'm just going to knock out this icky stuff, because everything occupies space in your brain, right?
Yeah.
So, to me, it's like if my car is neat and orderly and my house is neat and orderly, and I don't mean like clean, I just mean I get out of my car and I throw away the trash each time, and, I hang up my clothes in the closet, even if they're inside out and backwards.
That was progress for you.
Yes, that was progress, because that is just a sense of accomplishment and organization, so that stuff doesn't take up time and space in my brain. Something that really takes up space in my brain is, getting ready for tax season.
Oh.
And I'm just like, why don't I just flip and knock it out so that this is not weighing on my shoulders and weighing me down? Mm-hmm. So when you're experiencing burnout, I think it's an opportunity to sit back and say, oh my gosh, what do I just need to knock out right here?
Yeah.
Is it just like go to the gym, drink my water, start taking supplements, go to bed earlier?
Mm-hmm. I think like making a start to your day, like just having some sort of a routine that gets you in the right mindset, I think that's really helpful. I love what you said about knocking out the hard things. Mm-hmm. If I have stuff at work that's kind of weighing on me, that's the hard things that I have to get done, if you get the hard things done in the morning, it just makes the day so much lighter.
Oh, that's so funny you say that, because
so
the handful of things that I do with my routine, I want to get everything done by 1 p.m. and then my thought process then is anything else that I accomplish is like gravy.
Yes.
It's just like gravy for the rest of the day.
Yeah.
And so that's what I try to do. Each day I try to get the bulk of everything done by 1 p.m. so that I just eliminate that occupying the space in my brain.
Yeah, I think knocking out the hard things is great. I think I go a little bit crazy when I'm in my head and I'm worried about stuff. One time I just completely cut down all the bushes in our front yard. They needed to be trimmed.
Jeez.
They needed to be trimmed, and I had a lot of stress and anxiety over something that was coming up, and I was just like, and they were, it's one of those things I was looking at every day, and it needed to be done, and I was just out front. My husband comes home, and he's like, what are you doing? I had just all of the bushes. Now they look gorgeous.
Yes, they grew back.
So, doing big projects to put your mind on something else, just that makes you see that you're making a little bit of progress, even on little things. I think progress is the thing that pulls you through. If somehow you can figure out how to make yourself feel a little bit better in that moment, in that day, mm-hmm. by accomplishing something hard or even something easy. Just get up, just go do something.
Right.
And then you're gonna feel better.
Well, when I was in total burnout and just in a really place of just feeling like everything was falling apart with work, one of the tools or the tricks that I started doing was, and I did it like several times a day because that's where I was at, would just say, I'm thankful for Steve, I'm thankful for Mallory, I'm thankful for
Gratitude.
Brent, I'm thankful, and I just basically repeated the same things over and over, and you can't stay hateful and grateful at the same time.
I love that.
So it's just like moving yourself to a different place. Mm-hmm. I love the fact that you went out there and chopped down the bushes instead of like cutting bangs. You know what I mean? You could have.
I would never cut the bangs. No,
because you went out there and did something that needed to be done, and then look, and then honestly, then when it came back, it actually is kind of a really good analogy that you tore that crap out of there, and then it comes back so beautiful, right. And just looks amazing.
Exactly.
Yes.
You got to get rid of the mess. I don't know. When it comes to just being around family, being around work, I think women in general, we put so much on our shoulders.
True.
Like when you were going through what you were going through, we talked, but you always had it together. You always, I never ever knew you were struggling. And I think that a lot of us are not willing to share when we're struggling. I think we need to share more when we're struggling because it's hard. It's hard owning a business. It's hard being a lawyer. It's hard raising a family. Mm-hmm. Trying to do everything all at one time is challenging. And I think when we talk to other people, we feel like that's a weakness. Just admitting that we're not perfect, that
right.
we have struggles. I would think probably over the last 5 years, I mean, that just growing up and being a trial lawyer, you never are allowed to show weakness. I mean, if you're showing weakness in any type of litigation, that is just a recipe for disaster, because the person on the other
They're
side,
going to attack you.
It just happens. It's just part of how litigation works. So you cannot show weakness. So coming through that, I just was very closed when it came to how I felt as a person. I would not share personal details. I had no family photos in my office. I had nothing. I mean, I had a few, but not very many, because I didn't want anybody to have any basis
access to any of that.
Exactly, to come after me. And I think over the last 5 years, I've realized that I could have probably reached out and had some help through some of those really challenging times if I was willing to share. So I just encourage people to find somebody that you're close to, find someone that you admire and look up to, and just have a conversation. It's okay.
Right.
We're not perfect.
Well, and I think too, like when you keep it all to yourself, how are you going to have the inkling that there's another perspective?
Exactly.
Right? So, obviously you don't want to be just speaking to the whole world, but somebody who's close to you that can add perspective to it and just give you something else to think about, because you only know what you know, right? And until something presents itself wherein it's like, oh wow, I never really thought of it that way, you're just going down that same track.
It's just a hallway.
Yeah, it's like tunnel.
Yeah.
And it's so funny that you talk about how you were, because I've known Dawn for years and years, and I didn't. It's interesting that you talk about how closed off you were personally. I never felt that through our friendship and the years. Like, you were really good at hiding that, and it wasn't until you decided that okay, I'm gonna go into this next chapter and I'm gonna open up, and then you made that video about how you were raised.
Oh, right.
And I was like, oh my goodness, I had no idea, like absolutely no idea. So I want to commend you on your ability to still be personable, approachable, and converse with.
Well, thank you.
But yet knew nothing about you.
Yeah.
I knew nothing about you until we started all this.
I feel like you're the same way. I really do, and I think that has to do with our positions. We were talking about being friends with people in the office, and then kind of moving into more of a boss position.
Yes.
Having that ability to kind of segregate and separate, so that everybody is safe and healthy in that environment. I mean, you just have to be so careful about the crossover. And I think as you get older and you get more comfortable with who you are and how you are in all of your environments, all of your different worlds that connect,
right,
you just know it's going to be okay. Like, okay, I can share a little bit, and so what if they find out this or that? That's part of who I am. That's part of why I'm doing what I'm doing.
Right.
Because every life impact changes who you are and puts you on a path. I mean, I truly believe that. I mean, I'm absolutely on this path because of where I've gone and what I've seen and what I've done. I mean, Nicole and I were talking. Nicole's shooting today. She's my best friend. I feel so lucky to have her as part of this. But we were talking today when we were coming here, and it's just having a trial. I recently had a trial and lost. And when you get so involved with your clients and your clients' lives, and you're living their case, bonding with them in a short period of time so that you can present who they are and what they have felt through that process. Just being able to do that is hard, but I could never have done that if I wouldn't have been in certain places where I had seen trauma or devastation or loss or mourning or any of that. I mean, you have to be able to tap into those things. And when it comes to being burned out in that moment, you just have to realize that there's something on the other side, right? Like, what can I take with me through this to help others or to make it better next time?
Yes, and I agree. And so, for the listeners, I think we have all age ranges, and so when you're, especially in the legal environment, it can be so closed up, so buttoned up. Just trying to understand, if you're in a burnout place right now, that as difficult as it is, that's just like educating you, seasoning you for that next chapter, right?
That's right.
And then the other gamut is, I have girlfriends and other people that listen, other women that listen, and they're at the other end where they're like semi-retired or trying to go into a new chapter because they've been burned out, or they don't have they're trying to figure out what's their purpose. And so it's just take that next step, you've got to have a purpose to figure out what you're going to do and how you're going to consume your time in a positive way.
We've talked about core values, right? Personal
Yes.
core values. I think when you're going through a really difficult time, sitting down and figuring out what you actually believe in, like who you are, what is important to you, so that you can use those things to guide you through each day, through each process, through each, new challenge, through each new venture. Am I going to spend my time here or there? I mean, it has to be one of those things to where somebody's guiding you. Something's guiding you.
And you may get to the point wherein you have to make a choice. So like I had to make a choice. Just a new season, a new chapter. My daughter's going to school. I have a granddaughter, and my husband and I, she was going to night school so that we would keep my granddaughter Giselle in the evenings. Well, it may sound like, oh, it's only in the evenings, so that's easy peasy. But once you haven't had children and you're an empty nester, it was a huge change. And so what it did for me is I was starting to feel this immense guilt because I wasn't working all the time. Because that had pretty much been my purpose, was working all the time. And I finally just had to check it. I'm like, look, this is the season I'm in. This is important. Mallory's going to school. We're helping support and take care of Giselle while Mallory's in school. And I just had to make that mental shift. I had to make a choice.
Yeah.
And it's just a season. It won't last that long. And then if I want, I can go back working 24/7 or whatever I want to do. But who knows? What it will likely do is it'll put me in a place to be more balanced, which I have struggled with. I'm not the best person with balance. I do things 110% or not at all. So it's like trying to find that happy medium, right?
Yeah. I think just kind of investing in the decision to do something, to make a change. Everybody gets so stuck because we feel like we're going to make the wrong decision, especially when you're in burnout. You're like, okay, I'm stuck here. This doesn't feel right, but there's these things that are happening that I need for my life, so I don't want to make a change. And then what if I make a change and then it's bad or it's wrong or I'm unhappy? And then it's just analysis paralysis,
yes,
right? Just over and over again, to where you're doing nothing. You're just sitting there,
right?
Just stuck. So just make a decision. I mean, you have to decide to move in a direction. And then I always tell my kids, they're in their 20s now, I just tell them, I'm like, if you make a wrong choice, just make another choice, right? Just make a decision, and then another decision will take you out of that one, and then that puts you on the path. You're not doing anything by just sitting there.
Well, and doing nothing is a decision.
It is a decision.
Like, that is a decision. That is a choice. Like, you have picked to stay and do nothing, and that's a decision.
Yeah, to stay burned out. Yeah, but I just getting the energy that you need, the positive energy that you need to move through that place. I think that's hard. That's the most difficult thing, because you just don't even see anything else. You're just kind of consumed with that emotion of I'm stuck.
Right.
But little steps make a big difference. Those little things that you can do.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah. So find somebody to share with, to get some perspective that you feel close enough and trust to just give you another opportunity to view things differently, and take a step.
Take a step, make a decision, make a choice, have some core values, sit down, figure out what you really want. Is this the place that you want to be right now? Do you need a change? Is this just temporary and you just need to kind of dig in and get through it? You know, you just have to kind of sit down and make a list. Lists are good. You know, these are the things that are good that are happening. These are the things that are bad. I mean, that's always helpful when you can put it in some tangible view to where you can see what's actually happening.
Right. So we started out, burnout is not failure, and Dawn just like summarized it all perfectly. It's not failure.
It's not.
It's just making those changes. We would love to have input or feedback, comments. You can comment below, or you can email us at hello@ladiesinlaw.com. Thank you.
Thanks, everybody.